In the past few years, the middleweight division has become a barren land. There's no one there of any celebrity kind of status, any popularity within the boxing community, especially with the casuals. Nobody cares about the middleweight division. If you're under 30 years old, you probably think that the middleweight division is a barren division. There's nobody there. It's never been good. But it used to be one of the most exciting divisions in boxing. Obviously, you've heard of the likes of Hagler and Hearns and all of these type of guys. They were the guys that were the most exciting guys in boxing. Move forward, you're talking about Roy Jones Jr., James Toney, and these type of guys. Kelly Pavlik, all of these kind of guys. The Executioner, Bernard Hopkins. These guys made the middleweight division lively. Even Oscar was there for a little bit. Oscar De La Hoya, that is. But ever since Canelo and Triple G had their 2 fights, and then Canelo tried to have an undisputed fight after that, which didn't come into fruition, which made him subsequently move up and basically let go of all those belts that he had, dash them all away and move up to super middleweight. It's become a barren land. Janibek Alimkhanuly came into the fray, coming from the same place as Triple G, and everybody thought, oh, he's going to come fight Triple G and then take over Triple G's reign, which he didn't do because he was like, oh, Triple G is my hero and I will never fight anyone from my country. I wouldn't fight my countrymen, which I just don't get. I can't understand that kind of mentality. How many British fighters fight against each other? How many American fighters fight against each other? When you're making your name in your country, aren't you fighting the same guys from your country as well? That's just the most dumbest thing I ever heard. And ultimately that costed him, because if he had fought and beaten Triple G, then he would have more of an acclaim because he would have beaten the so-called boogeyman and the so-called destroyer. I mean, at that particular time, Triple G had a lot of celebrity attached to him because of the 2 fights that he had with Canelo, both of which people were on the fence of if he won or if he lost. So his name was still up there. People were tuning into him. People were watching his fights. And if he had had that fight with Triple G, beaten Triple G, he would have taken that acclaim with him and carried it on. But he missed that with all these claims of, I'm not fighting my countryman. He acquired the WBO interim title after he fought a guy called Danny Dignam, and then was elevated to WBO world champion when he fought and beat Denzel Bentley in a unanimous decision win, which I thought Denzel should have pushed a bit harder, done a bit better, and he would have won that fight, but that's neither here nor there. I'm going to do a little video about Denzel Bentley at some point. So now he's the WBO world champion. He has a couple defenses, and then he fights a guy called Vincenzo Gualtieri, who I believe at some point acquired the IBF title, which was vacant because obviously Canelo vacated all the titles. Gualtieri picked up a vacant IBF title, fought Janibek, lost to Janibek. So now Janibek is a unified champion. So he's got these 2 belts now, and so now he's calling on all comers. Who wants to fight me? Who wants to fight me? No one cares about this guy, so no one's running to fight him, apart from this guy called Carlos Adames. So Carlos Adames was running him down, trying to get the fight with Janibek, but the WBC was also holding him in the number 1 spot for their belt. So when that belt became vacant, they emailed Carlos Adames that belt, and then he went quiet, and then he didn't want to fight Janibek no more. And so Janibek went on to defend his titles. So now he's got the WBO and the IBF title, and he's had this fight against Andre Mikhailovich on the weekend just gone. And it was kind of a strange fight. It was in Australia because Top Rank, who is Janibek's promoter, did not win the purse bid. No Limit Promotions outfit won the purse bid and staged the fight. Mikhailovich was being a game fighter. He resides in Australia, but was born in Russia. He was talking all this talk, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And when the fight actually happened, he's orthodox, Janibek is southpaw, and the first round is very awkward. Jabs, little feints and such like. Second round comes in and Mikhailovich starts to hold a lot. So I'm thinking, wow, he must have felt something that really hurt him in there for him to be grabbing so much in this, just the second round. Coming up to the midway point of the second round, the ref says, listen to me, my you. He parts them and he says, listen to me, my you. Stop this holding thing, bro. You're supposed to be fighting. This ain't a waltz. This ain't some sort of hold hand dancing type thing. This ain't a hugging contest. This ain't no hug fest. Okay? Fight the guy. Stop holding. Yeah? So as he does that and he says fight, Janibek hits him with a good couple shots, and that is the beginning of the downfall of Andre Mikhailovich in this particular fight. At the end of the second round, Janibek wobbles him crazily and he stands off of him. He doesn't finish him off. It's like he's telling him go down or something like that, and he doesn't finish him off. So his legs are jelly. Janibek continues with the onslaught, drops him, and Mikhailovich gets an 8 count. And then he's saved by the bell. So the round ends, and from there on in, because for me, in that particular situation, I think maybe the ref should have counted him out or stopped the fight because he didn't look good. He did not look healthy in there. At the same time, it's in Australia. Mikhailovich lives in Australia. His promotional company won the rights to the fight. It's only 2 rounds. At least give him another round. That's what I believe that is the thought process of the referee and everybody in the arena at that point. So anyway, third round comes, and from now on, Mikhailovich is just trying to survive. But he's a game survivor. He's able to hold the shots that Janibek is sending his way. He's doing a lot of holding. The ref is allowing the holding now. It's like the ref told him to stop holding, but now that he got knocked down and looks very sketchy, the ref's allowing him to do all this holding, where Janibek's just trying to push him off to land his punches. And Mikhailovich survived for another 8 rounds, because for them 8 rounds, Mikhailovich was not only surviving, but he was getting himself back into some sort of contention because his legs came back underneath him. He started to seem like his confidence was rising back, and he was catching Janibek with a few of his shots that he was sending in there. I mean, he wasn't winning any rounds, that's for sure. Janibek was definitely winning the rounds, a lot of shoe shining punches, and he weren't doing any holding. Mikhailovich was doing a lot of holding. So he was definitely winning the rounds. But Mikhailovich was coming into the fight again, slowly but surely. But at the end of the 9th round, Janibek dropped him again, and the ref was like, nah, this is enough, and just called the fight off at that point. So Janibek retains his 2 titles. Now, there was some mix-up about if the WBO title was up for contention, and it wasn't up for contention. And so it was only the IBF title that was up for contention. And what I didn't even think about was the fact that the fighter themselves, who's the champion, decides whether he's putting up his belt for contention or not. And I don't understand why Janibek wasn't putting up his belt for contention. But for some reason, he wasn't putting up the belt for contention, and the WBO are now asking him to say why. So they see no reason to strip him of the belt, but they're looking to strip him of the WBO belt, because he didn't put it up in this fight. But that worked against him because he had some problems making weight before. This fight was supposed to happen before, and they had to postpone it because Janibek was dehydrated and he wasn't healthy to fight. But he was dehydrated because he was trying to make the middleweight division. So everybody's thinking, oh, you're too big for middleweight. You need to move up. But he didn't move up, and he then made the weight for this fight. But with the IBF, they're the only belt that says on the day of the fight, you can't be 10 pounds, you can't be over 10 pounds of the weigh-in that you done the night before. So that's very hard, because when you're struggling to make weight, you just have a little sip of water and you put 20 pounds on. Your body's crying for it. So somehow he made the weight, and he passed the IBF test the next day, and he had the fight, won the fight. So he's retained his IBF belt for definite, and the WBA are checking in to see if he's going to keep that belt, which I hope they let him keep that belt. I don't understand the situation, but I hope they keep the belt. I hope that he keeps the belt because it's closer to unifying the division. I like to see undisputed champions, and this is the season, and this is the era of the undisputed. It hasn't been like this for I don't know how long, but this is the era of the undisputed, and it seems like whoever is at the division and has got a couple belts, they want to get all the belts. So with Janibek having the IBF and the WBO, there's only 2 other belts, which is Carlos Adames and Erislan de Lara. Erislan de Lara, who just beat Danny Garcia to retain his belt. Carlos Adames, I haven't seen him have a title defense as yet. And Hamza Shiraz is his #1 contender. He's also the #1 contender for the WBO, which seems like that's what he's chasing. I don't understand why he's chasing the WBO when he could always chase the WBC, but I'm not sure who Carlos Adames is with, and if he's with the PBC promotional outfit, then it's going to be ridiculous for him to get that fight. I'll have to check that out. I think he may be with PBC, which means he should go and fight Erislan de Lara and get unification fight, but I don't know, because Erislan de Lara is not no spring chicken. He's an old man in boxing, and I don't know how much he wants to do in his career anymore. I'm not sure if he's ready to retire. I'm not sure if he's wanting to unify or have couple defenses and then retire. I don't know what this Erislandy Lara is trying to do in boxing, but he's definitely not no spring chicken, and he's definitely coming up to retirement times. He was never a middleweight, to be fair. He was always a junior middleweight, but he's just moved up and got this belt, so he's a title holder. Therefore, he should have a unification fight with any one of these guys. I believe Carlos Adames is over there with the PBC. Make that fight happen so then both of you have got, or one of you have got both them belts, and then Janibek's got the other two belts, and then that can be undisputed. This is what I think should happen in this division to give it some sort of clarity again. Get an undisputed champion up there, and then the likes of Hamza Shiraz, and the likes of Denzel Bentley, and the likes of even Chris Eubanks Jr. These guys could liven up the division with their attempts to get the belts off whoever the undisputed guy is. But they may call one of these guys to have their mandatory, so you may see Hamza Shiraz or Denzel Bentley or Chris Eubanks Jr. fight one of these guys. Chris Eubanks Jr. is on the Beterbiev versus Bivol undisputed fight, which is happening this weekend, which is a video I need to do, but I'm going to get that video done. But this is the state of the middleweight division as we know it. Carlos Adames, WBC champion, Erislandy Lara, WBA champion, and Janibek Alimkhanuly has got the IBF and the WBO. Come on, guys, get this unification and undisputed situation underway so that we can have one champion at this weight class. Yo, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.